see your body, girl, it look like whoa. Body no pop down, body don't need no toe. When I do something so you only got the know. Broke out, make the whole world know. Body. Let's bring that. Promise your body, girl, it look like whoa. Body no pop down, body don't need no toe. When I do something so you only got the know. Block out.
my foolish pride. I'm out of my mind. I'm down from the endless high. Don't know who's losing, who's bruising, who's choosing to stick it through. So we fight with fire. Still on a wire. We fight with fire. Burn with your light. You plead with the tears I cry. Don't know who's losing, who's bruising, who's choosing to stick it through. So we fight with fire. Still on a wire. We fight with fire. Still on a wire.
I've always been one of those, like, I prefer being complete as a player, so I don't like ignoring a role. I've been around esports for a long time. I've done a lot of stuff to try and encourage it. Like, my first esports tournament was in 1998. To see Belong doing this kind of thing, to have it in a city and have a company get behind and finally push it out for anybody to come in and play. Like, it's not like the guys here are all like, you know, amazing players the moment they walk in. Some of them play once a week or once a month, or a couple of them have never played before when they come in. Come in for community night, pick up a team, they're hooked. That's it, right? I love it. I'm really, really proud to take part of it, to be honest. This is mostly grassroots, right? But the thing that's coming out of it, which is really cool for me, as much as it's like a bit beyond my level now, but teams like Stratford and a couple of other teams at the real top of Championship Overwatch. Can't speak for the other leagues as much because I haven't watched them, but I know some of them are getting there as well. But specifically Stratford and a couple of other teams are really getting like semi-pro, pro level gameplay. And it's really, really cool to see that coming out of a grassroots tournament. It means they smash us when they play us, but just to watch them go against the other big teams, it's like watching United and City go against each other. You know, it's really cool.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Belong Arena Clash. Welcome to week 4, the penultimate week of the group stage, and welcome to the week where things could get messy or interesting or solidified depending on how well these matches go over the course of today. I'm the Eternal J. Joining me as he always does is Digital Bacon. How are you doing, my man?
I'm doing really good, and like you said, alluding to the messy state of Group D, because I tell you, I've been running numbers, and we could, depending upon today, get a three-way tie at the end of the season, at the end of league play here in Group D. But first of all, let's talk about Group 1, because currently sitting up top is Pirates. They're currently on a bye week. Vikings are near enough joining them, of course, with 2 wins, but they do have a loss there, Jay. Claymores, unfortunately, though, have had a bye week as well and could run still for second, but they've got to take down the Vikings.
Yeah, plenty of chances for Vikings and Claymores. Comes down to their match later on off stream today. Going into Group 2, we also have some undefeated players in the game. Harriers and Lionhearts yet to lose a single match. But of course, that one single series that Harriers has above the Lionhearts in a 3-0 versus 2-0 leaves them at the top end. But they take each other on next week, Bacon, which could end up shuffling up the first and second place entirely. Other than that, it seems like most of the other teams may be out of the running in this group.
Yeah, unfortunate. Spartans, we were expecting big things coming out from them, but it just was not to be. They did go up against the two big dogs, but looking towards Group C, Group 3, the big dogs there, of course, are the Enigmas. There was no doubt about it when we were going through the teams, Jay. Enigmas were going to be top, and they still stay up there. Second, though, Tyneside Guardians, they've been having a great little run, haven't they?
Yeah, they can still fight for that first place. It is almost another two-horse race for them, but the Saints are also only a single point down. So them or the Tyneside Steelers could potentially go for a decent run in the last couple of matches in these last couple of weeks and potentially steal that second place away. It would be a bit of an upset result if we saw it, Boykin, so we'll have to keep your eyes on the tables as this week rolls on. But now we will go over to Group 4, which is the group that we will be watching. And as you say, this is where things could get very messy. It's similar standing to Group 2 with the Arrows and the Colchester Centurions leading at the top two, and we will be seeing both of those teams on today's stream, and depending on how their matches go, it could separate that gap a bit further.
Yeah, looking at this, Preston really have to take down Colchester. On paper, they should be able to do that. And then in week 5, Preston will be going up against Plymouth Armada, who we are going to be seeing today go up against Nottingham Arrows, who sit currently up the top of the table. So, of course, everything is up for grabs. And if it goes well, because remember, Norfolk Nighthawks only have Nottingham Arrows left to go against. If everything goes to what is my script anyway, we're going to have a 3-way tie at the end of league play, which, of course, is diabolically tasty.
Yes, very, very tasty indeed. But for now, let's talk about today's matches. First up, we've got the Nottingham Arrows versus the Plymouth Armada. You can see the lineups on your screen right here. A couple of names that might be a bit deceiving. McLovin is one of the guys that stands out the most. It's not the McLovin that we would all know from the Gfinity Elite Series and being a part of the old Placebo lineup that made the RLRS. Not quite the same, but certainly they are the favourites coming into this.
Yeah, he's definitely a skilled player by all means as well. This is Nottingham University lots, so the three of them, Aussie, Doppler, and McLovin, know each other inside and out. They've even made like EU, RLS top 16s. And then Delta Bacon, this is why they're winning my heart over. He's their little sub. We have no real knowledge about him, but with a name like that, how can I go against them, Jay?
Of course, I was going to ask whether you would, but apparently you won't. Plymouth Armada will be over on the green side today on the left-hand side of your screen. Nottingham Arrows over in the cyan, and they will concede the opening goal with a fantastic passing play to McLovin, which gets the opener.
Yeah, we're looking at this right here. Fantastic little inwards pass to McLovin. Probably not needed, but good and easy to secure. And I'm loving that hat off McLovin, of course. Looking at this, though, Jay, this is going to be a learning lesson for Plymouth Armada. Currently, Diamond Lads, they're going up against Nottingham Arrows, all GCs, of course, and also top 100 team in EU at the moment.
Top player with a dunk down chance. What a save there from the Arrows. Trying to avoid the second goal differential here. They've still got the offensive going, and McLovin will just dribble it straight in from the wall. 2-0 right now for the Plymouth Armada. A great start.
Yeah, beautiful little play off the wall. No one really going quick enough to contest them. Again, we're talking about diamond level players. They're probably not so used to aerial dribbles coming in from that deep on the wall.
Aussie has control now here off the kickoff of the Plymouth Armada. Early control that they just seem to have. Nottingham Arrows trying to they can clear away, get a decent shot on target. That will be one there from Chinch, but in the end it will be cleared away by the defenses, so no major worries at this stage. Well, I say that on the other end of the field, there are some major worries for Nottingham Arrows. They're 3-0 down.
Yeah, this was a lovely little hit coming out from McLovin, going the whole length. Real high ball. He knew he was going to be scraping that crossbar, and Pepe unfortunately just not able to get up there in time and control. He actually overshot. He knew he had to get up early and was a little bit too fast. It was really unfortunate there.
Good start here for the Arrows. 3-0. Only 60 seconds into this one. Further shots coming through here as they try and put more pressure on towards the backboard. The Armada are struggling to break out of this one here. They will be able to get it into the green half eventually. Good challenges again with the pinches coming out from the midfield. We'll leave Nottingham Arrows with the majority of the ball control. Passes once again set up the offensive play. That one actually might be on target. No one's there. And McLovin with one more tap, one more goal. Just enough power to get it past the last line of defense. And they're 4-0 up.
Great chase up here coming from McLovin as well, knowing that he would need that extra little bit of power to get past the defenders. This is Nottingham Arrows really showing respect to their opponents. They know it's not going to be a walkaway game. You know, on paper, you can get a lot of grand champs that look towards Diamond Players and say, oh, this is going to be an easy win. No, they're securing it. They're giving their opponents the full respect and not going to do anything else but score by the best means they can. They're treating their opponents as if they were of that equal top 100 caliber.
Yeah, Nottingham Arrows with the control once again bouncing off the backboard, cleared away by the Armada as Ozzy takes it to the centre line. Plymouth Armada, Pepe at least lost the first player. Demos will come through against him and Ozzy will keep it away as McLovin passes back down to the centre line where Ozzy has control. Good challenge again from Lele. We'll get some pressure set up, all but that demo in the back line could get dangerous. McLovin's up for a dunk down, will miss it out. Ginge will take control as a result, but still further shots coming in. Ozzy with a great challenge. Oh, that is just beautiful.
It was indeed. Yeah, absolutely done, Pepe. Unfortunate, but Ozzy controlled everything there. Notice how he uses his boost to get that upper hand. Essentially, it's all about forces there. If you're a physics student, you'll know that through and through. Get up on top, and you're just going to push it on past. Like a tank barreling on through you. There is nothing stopping that one.
McLovin up once again to keep the pressure going for the Arrows. Good second touch. Good defensive, though, from the Plymouth, though. McLovin passes back once again. The team player looking so much stronger for the Nottingham Arrows, and they're using that just to keep the pressure going to make sure that Plymouth Armada don't break out of their own half. They can continue to put shot after shot onto the backboard, onto the post, back onto the right-hand side of the net, and McLovin with a great recovery pass will leave it to Ozzy. There's no one there to challenge it. Eventually, Ginger will get it over to the corner. This is workable here, but can he get it past Doppler? He'll try, but no, one good challenge will throw the entire play off.
Looking at it right now, good clearance coming out from there because Plymouth Armada could have gone for net there, Jay. No, they wanted to stall. They were trying to play it safe, get some boost and move down to their opponent's end. But what we're seeing from Plymouth right now is actually great signs of a growing team. Looking at them, I would not think, you know, that Diamond 2-3 caliber because they have got a lot of potential there. It's just slick movements, more of the mechanics of the game because the mental really is there.
Some over rotations baited here. Nottingham Arrows clearing out the backline defensive, almost scored a goal off the back of that one. Doppler once again bouncing from the corner, nicely done, reading his opponent, getting the 6-0 for the Nottingham Arrows side. And as you say, you know, the mentality is there, the rotations mostly are in check for the Plymouth Armada. It's just a case of placing yourself correctly. And right here, Lele just did the opposite of that. Nottingham Arrows can take easy control as a result.
Yeah, unfortunate their last man back, stopping in net, trying to see what his opponent was going to do. And unfortunately, because he has stopped, all momentum has stopped and thus could not get to the ball fast enough. That's why we always talk about that back post rotation, Jane, where you enter in through the back and carry your speed across to the front post. If you sit in the center, you can't reach it quick enough.
Awkward double commit there from the Armada. Nottingham Arrows going to use that misplacement to try and keep the pressure, as they have done throughout most of the matchup so far. Triple commit this time. That's going to leave the back line entirely open, and a great pass up to McLovin, redirecting the 7-0. Nottingham Arrows pretty dominant thus far in this one, Bacon.
Yeah, and quite fitting right here for Nottingham Arrows with Robin Hood's situation coming out from McLovin, stealing the goal away from Ozzy and giving it to himself. That's 7-0, Jay. We could even see a Brazil at this point.
60 seconds to make it happen for the Plymouth Armada. The question is, are the Nottingham Arrows the memesters? Apparently not. Doppler's going straight in with a double touch. McLovin will be forced to put it high, thanks to Pepe's good save. And Ozzy also there with a shot that will also be saved by the backline. Doppler once again goes off the backboard. Missed touch from two players, redirecting from him. And he keeps the pressure, he keeps the momentum swing in the favour of the Nottingham Arrows.
These high balls really hard to read. You can see Pepe trying it, second man going up, trying to get a bit of security, and actually was a good idea. Send it off to the corner. Last man sitting net, expecting two teammates to make the save. Can't do anything. He's like a sitting duck in that net, Jay.
Good kick-off as well, going in the favour of Nottingham Arrows. It's just everything going their way at the moment. 40 seconds to the victory. It's virtually impossible for Plymouth Armada to return this. An awkward save there from Ozzy, but he does come up clutch with it. And that really is just a statement to what you were mentioning earlier, the mechanics being just there for the Arrows versus it not being there for the Plymouth Armada. They can get a clutch save, bait in the defense, force an own goal, and force near double digits for their side.
Yeah, for that one, you might think that he works part-time as a postman. Here, Pepe, they might be thinking he works part-time for Nottingham Arrows. What of that little own goal? Unfortunately, he was just trying to jump across. And of course, talking about momentum earlier, when you're up in the air, you cannot stop yourself at all. So he just continued it through. And Ozzy just read where he was going, knocked it off him.
Plymouth Armada having to concede game one at this stage. Nottingham Arrows hunting down their double digits, but at this stage, it will be game one going their way, and not a lot of hope for Plymouth Armada off the back of that. It is the first game. There could be teething periods, but, you know, again, it is a case of mechanical differential and certainly team play as well that came up for the Arrows there, Bacon. Like, they felt like they were a cohesive unit, constantly taking to the midfield, constantly keeping the pressure going, and constantly just keeping the Armada side basically with no opportunity and no, you know, availability to do anything.
Yeah, like I said, you've got Plymouth Armada here, which are fledgling really high-ranked players, don't get me wrong, in Diamond 2 and 3. But they're going up against, as I said, a top 100 EU side, rating even top 16 in the EU RLS. So they've got real tough opponents going up against them. Nottingham Arrows are tipped to even make it the whole way to the final. So Plymouth just have that unfortunate balance going up against them. But here, I'm looking at it, they've got all the fundamentals in place. You got to think it's that mental aspect, your rotations, like you said, how to defend and how to aggress downfield, which they do actually have there. It's just that mechanical skill, which would just come down to going through those training packs, just going through play by play, and essentially practice makes perfect. It's just time in the game, which they've just got to increase. So by next season, who knows where they could be.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd also recommend suggesting sort of like team practice and team placement as well, because there were a lot of double commits and triple commits, which left the net quite open on the part of the Armada. You know, it felt like there was a lot of unnecessary sort of mistakes being made. And that kind of led that scoreline to go as far as it did. Something that the defensive did look like it was pretty solid on the part of the Armada. It's not seeing Arrows once again look to pick things off on the right foot here in game two.
On that note, though, Jay, it's because they're sending two players to the ball to try and defend against it. They're using the number strategy, you know, quantity over quality, which is understandable at this level, you know? They know what their opponents are capable of, and they're responding accordingly.
Ball in over to the blue half. Plymouth Arrows trying to pass to Pepe. Good intercept though, and another double commit might open things up. All good touch from Doppler. Be Aussie to take control. Bouncing away from Ginge. Double commit again. We'll be able to get down to the green half one more time. Delta Bacon passing over. Aussie there to receive it into the corner. To the sideboard, pass it back down towards the blue half. This can get very awkward. Pepe will get back in time to defend it. Just the play from Nottingham Arrows. Disallow the setup, disallow the pressure. Awkward touches might open up a chance, but no. Bouncing off the crossbar. And it looks like in the opening minute there will be a goal scored this time.
Yeah. One thing I'm loving at the moment, though, we just got Delta Bacon jump onto the pitch. That is a game-by-game little sub going on there. Of course, you can get away with that when you're at a LAN, essentially. They're all in the arenas. We'll have to see what he can bring forward, because we've got no data on this lad. So I'm quite interested.
Might be a case that Nottingham Arrows can play a bit more unpredictably against Plymouth Armada. You know, you set up one in game two and suddenly any read that your opponents have is basically going to be completely negated. Bounce back over to the corner one more time. Bounce in from Ginge over to Pepe. Nice redirect. This is going to go too far wide, though. Aldi will have the perfect opportunity to clear, but no boost to do so. And Lennon will challenge as appropriate. Again, it will go off the crossbar and bounce away from the net. But you can see the pressure coming in from the Plymouth side is starting to look
beautiful pinch.
But a couple of big misses almost opens it up for the Nottingham Arrows. They can return and start to apply that deadly pressure.
Oh, Doppler trying to put a real lofty up into that crossbar. Good defense coming out from defenders, and Aussie going to try and pressure this to the corner. Give time for his teammates to form up in the midfield. So all you're going to see now is this hitting off the backboard until they can finally get in net. Aussie not going to be able to connect with that, and I just saw Delta Bacon double commit for it as well. So this is a big opening for a response.
Oh, lucky. Big whiffs there at the Plymouth Armada. They will be able to hold on to the equal scoreline at 0-0 at half-time marker. They've had a couple of good opportunities and a couple of big misses. Again, Doppler will be able to keep the pressure going. And Aussie off the ceiling now, going for a shot. Flip opportunity! And it will look beautiful. Finally, the Nottingham Arrows will put the first on the board.
Yeah, and this is a lovely little goal coming out from Aussie. Look at that. Off the ceiling, drops down onto it. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy for him, it seems.
And just past 2-minute marker as well. Nottingham Arrows, a goal up for them. Ginge will get that save and keep it away from the net. Again, keeping it away from that 2-goal lead for the Nottingham Arrows. That is the danger zone. That is the cushion that should push them past the edge here in game 2. They're getting close once again. All touches, no one's committing to the overall lead. We'll take it to the midfield eventually. Delta Bacon will be missing out here. Doppler, once again, back in the back line. Will come forward to try and set up a counter-attack. Pep to return. Pele over to the corner, ventures to the box. Ginge up from the corner, bounce back in. Aussie will take control. Delta Bacon is inside the box, but can't get it much further than that. Ball in, redirect. By Ginge, so no second goal to be scored by Armada.
Yeah, and you can definitely see Del Bacon coming on has dropped the, I want to say the cohesiveness here for Nottingham Arrows, but you cannot blame them for doing that. They're giving their sub some real live sort of experience and testing. It is a trial by fire for him. And for me, that's the smartest move. They've already got a game up. They're going against the weakest team, essentially, in their group, and they're still coming out stunning.
Aussie. Great ball control, great boost smash, gets it past 2 of the defenders. It's a 2-0 for the Nottingham Arrows. Plymouth Armada are 60 seconds from completing the match point to the Nottingham Arrows. As once again that net is pretty open. They do have one player back, one on the rotation, a third one coming in from the centre line, but bounces will come through and Nottingham Arrows will once again keep that pressure going to the blue half. Aussie and Delta Bacon passing over to Doppler off to the backboard redirect chance. It's going to get missed out, unfortunately, a bit behind, a bit too wide. Drop back on target, and again, Ginge will be able to get the save. Aussie back into the centre line. And Ginge taking it over to the midfield and trying to keep the time stalled here for Nottingham Arrows and Plymouth Armada. Still 2 goals behind. They score one more here, it will be the end of the game. 30-second timer ticks down, and that will also be the end of 2-0. Nottingham Arrows, good clear. No one's in the net. Doppler will get back in time. Pepe's chance has been wasted.
It has indeed, and it's super unfortunate. Look at that. Great pressure coming out there from Aussie. Once again, he's looking for his hat-trick, Jay. But Plymouth Armada being able to, because of the natural pacing of the game slowing down a little bit, really keep up, and that's why you're only seeing it as a 2-0 this time around.
Indeed, very, very different to the first game there, Bacon. I have to admit, I was not expecting it to be, considering it was a 9-0 at the first game, it was like, it looks like this is going to be a pretty simple affair for the Nottingham Arrows, but apparently not. You know, I have to ask you actually, what kind of difference did the sub of Delta Bacon make to you? Do you think it made a difference? Do you think it affected the line of the Nottingham Arrows, or was it just the other side just doing as well as they really did?
It definitely did. Like I said, it slowed them down a little bit. McLovin, due to him knowing his teammates' play style, dived in quite deep a lot of the time to pick up those little infield passes. Of course, you don't get that from Delta Bacon. He's wanting to stay back a little bit further. Near enough playing the defensive role. So going into game 3, I'd expect him to near enough play that third man role and Doppler move upfield a lot more because the way they were playing essentially was with Doppler and of course Aussie being opposite ends of the pitch and Delta Bacon stuck in the middle. I reckon they'll change that around, give Delta Bacon a little bit of a taste of a different position as they are going to be testing them out because a sub's there to be used, you know, in case you have a week where you can't play, especially if we, you know, we'll be moving into playoffs and Arrows are looking to make it there quite easily. If, say, McLovin can't make a week or Doppler can't, they're definitely going to have to use Delta Bacon. So they're training them up, making it sure that they get the whole way to the final because they want to go to Insomnia.
Yeah, and again, you know, it feels like that while it might hurt them in the short term against the Plymouth Armada, right now they're still winning the game. It looks like they're still on to win the series. They are on match points, so All they have to do is take this victory and they will be another game up at the top of the table. Plymouth Armada, however, want to try and change that. This could be their chance, but with shots coming through. And again, the mechanical difference will hurt the Armada side. Perfect opportunity to score the opening goal, and now McLovin will come in and try and open things up for the Nottingham Arrows, try and see if he can keep the pressure rolling, keep everything rolling for them one more time. They rotate back over to the green half. Plymouth Armada will be able to have a little bit of control. In the end, they will not be able to get any goals.
Yeah, I'm just looking at this now, and I'm a little bit upset because McLovin's back on the pitch. We know the power he can bring, but that means we've gone and lost Doppler. It was in the Fennec, that new car, and I absolutely love it. It gives me like old rally sort of car vibes from it, from like the 80s. It's a beautiful beast.
Yeah, good start for the Arrows once again. Plymouth Armada, however, again coming out of the gate and showing us they've got a little bit of bite left in them. The control from McLovin, though. Setting up Delta Bacon here for the shot and almost managed to make it work for them, but not to be. Now McLovin, 100
Good
points
bump.
of boost. Will try go for the flip reset. A good bump, as you say. Aussie passes back towards that man, though, keeping it away from the midfield line of the Plymouth Armada side. Another good redirect from McLovin. Could go in, triple commit, and it doesn't even get the save. 2-0 for Nottingham Arrows. Good shooting once again.
Could go in, will go in here. Beautiful little hit, an absolute banger down into the corner. Not a defender set up, ready to get that. In those situations, Jay, you want one player going out challenging it, which normally would cover that closer post. Essentially, in that case, it'd be the left one from our camera angle. And then you have a player sitting back, being able to cover the far post as well. If it just goes a little right, be able to jump up and get it. There you've seen Plymouth, unfortunately, clustering up a little bit due to the pace that McLovin is bringing.
Yeah, Ginger didn't quite trust his teammates to get that save there, and if he did, then that probably would not have been a goal there for the Nottingham Arrows. Plymouth Armada would be on a much better stance coming into this one, and they're about to concede yet another goal. Bump into the net, very well done. 3-0 as McLovin scores yet another.
Yeah, what we've seen here is Pepe come out with a lot of bumping play, trying to get a little bit deep into his opponent's end. Unfortunately, there, it might have ruined the rotation a little bit. Last man back, not being able to get that for Armada. So Ginge was... again, I used it earlier, a bit of a sit and duck. He jumped up in the air trying to cover as much of the left side of the net as possible. Reading that, they went right.
Delta Bacon with control here on the offensive. No point to boost. Passing
Beautiful
set it
pass.
so well. Absolutely beautiful, as you say. 4-0 for Nottingham Arrows. This is looking much more like the game one that we saw earlier on during the day. And yeah, what an interesting prospect. The McLovin gets subbed out. They start to do a little bit poorly. He goes back in, and well, what do you know? Nottingham Arrows absolutely smashing this out of the game.
Yeah, it just shows that due to the nature of the plays, that McLovin is a very vital part to this roster. And the star of the last game, of course, Aussie comes up and say, "Hey, you forgot about me."
Nicely played. Very nicely played with the fake from McLovin and Aussie. Allowed to walk off the back of that setup to bait in. Pepe and Ginger didn't really know what to do in that defensive. A little bit late to the reactions, not reading the situation properly. And 5-0, this one might already be over at this stage, Bacon. And if Armada do try and set up a decent goal here towards the green half. Good stuff. Oh, McLovin, surely not. Beautiful. From the green half to the blue, and that is 6 on the board.
Yeah, you can definitely tell he's loving every single moment of today. It has been just absolutely clean and clinical coming out from Nottingham Arrows. As I said earlier, the pace that McLovin has, he is so fast, so mechanically gifted that he can just get that car up and down the pitch lightning fast, and it's really hard to beat if you are Plymouth Armada because you're not used to that. You're not used to that pace which your opponents are bringing, so you haven't really had any experience of it, really.
The passing plays as well, the amount of control the Nottingham Arrows have, just playing keep away from Plymouth Armada as eventually they dribble that ball between each other, get it up to the blue half, up to the box. 7-0 for the Nottingham Arrows. And you know, if there was a team that the Plymouth Armada could take a look at and say, listen, this is what you got to do, this is what you got to change, or this is what we got to try and learn from, it would be someone like the Nottingham Arrows that they're facing against right now.
Oh yeah, definitely. Nottingham Arrows are next to perfect. There are a few little bits, like the hit out there really should have been close to the wall seam where the opponent was there, but they're adapting to their opponents. We saw earlier Pepe trying to go in, getting a little bit physical. Thus, they've spaced themselves out, meaning that they've got a lot to work with. You've got Aussie going up for a lot of these high balls because they can see that Plymouth Armada are keeping it close to the ground. They're not so comfortable up in the air. So essentially, Nottingham Arrows are playing against all of Plymouth Armada's weaknesses. Plymouth Armada can't really change much about that. They need to play long clearances and near enough try and chase downfield to gain a bit of ground.
Oh, what a shot from McLovin, but this time it's Lele to get the save out here. Delta Bacon holding down the mid-center area. McLovin passing over to Mr. Bacon. Good save there by Ginge once again. Aussie comes in once again over to the ceiling crease, trying to pinch it in towards the goal. Ginge this time able to block it, and now the Reeds are starting to look a bit better from the Plymouth Armada side. Taking a bit of time to get used to their opponent's play style, and again, the fact that they're subbing in players per game doesn't help that. That doesn't help that either. What a challenge from McLovin. Watch this one more time. Lele thought he had the 50-50, but the angling was perfect to boom it right into the net.
Absolutely done and dusted with that one. Brilliant block coming out, and you can see again how he angles his car slightly off to the right. This is a kid that must have like a maths PhD incoming or something at uni, because he is getting everything right. And who else is as well? Aussie, he's got to be on the same course.
Nottingham Arrows proving why they are at the top of the table here. Looking for their third consecutive victory in the tournament in the group stage. It looks like it might actually just be given to them here, Bacon. 1 minute and 20 to recover 9 goals. That's like an unprecedented comeback. That's virtually impossible to win. And it looks like they might even try and push it to the double-digit area of 10. Obviously, great control. Good challenge, but Pepe there with a save will be able to get it past. Actually, break away for Ginge. Chance available. Flip to the post. Oh, no. Chance is still available for the Plymouth Armada, but they've run out of players to rotate from the centre line, and Nottingham Arrows will hold the defence, eventually get the clear, get it back over to the net. Good block by Ginge, but it's very weak, and a lot of open potential here for a score. It will not happen as Plymouth Armada do rotate back in time.
Yeah, but that weak hit on defense allowed time for his teammates to come forward and get that second touch. Brilliant hit there, as well as the clearance to chase downfield. Fortunately, that will be picked up by Aussie, but you can see defense from Armada, when these shots from a little bit further on are being put on, they have the time to deal with them. It's just essentially when Nottingham get real close up in their face that Plymouth are struggling a little bit with them.
20 seconds to go. Good control again. Demo's out. That's the 10.
Unfair. Red card.
If only this was really football. 10-0 for Nottingham Arrows, Plymouth Armada. Got to wonder if they can get 101 Dalmatians at this stage, Bacon, but I don't think it's going to happen. 15 seconds. Nottingham Arrows have not shown any sign of letting up or letting them get anything on the board.
Yeah, probably close to the getting, I don't know, 110 at this point, because, yeah, there it is. That's the worst kind of caster's curse, because we don't want it to be so one-sided.
Now, Plymouth Armada, unfortunately, looking like they're going to be conceding this series in 3-0 fashion. Again, dominant from the Nottingham Arrows. Didn't look like it throughout the entire series, Bacon, but very clearly they found the winning formula here against Plymouth Armada. And they will look to go 3-0 up in the table versus the 0-3 that the Plymouth Armada they do have on the board right now, yet to score so far in their group. And unfortunately, that will put them out of the running for the playoffs at this stage, unless some serious miracles happen between them and the Colchester Centurions. But for now, the Arrows can celebrate, revel in their victory, because it has looked very, very confident.
It has indeed, but like we said, with Plymouth Armada, they're going to be one to watch maybe next season, where they're going to be able to take some time away. Of course, they've still got next week's game, but they'll be able, they've got a bye next week, unfortunately. But essentially, they're going to be able to go away, maybe come back to the Belong Arena and basically train it up, because they have got all the fundamentals in place. It is just that sort of game time which they need a little bit more of, which that's always an exciting prospect for next season, isn't it, Jay?
We'll see how well they can do. For now, though, it's going to be a very good day for the boys over on the
Green Arrow side.
Yeah, the Green Arrow side. I was trying to look for that reference.
You were looking up that colour, weren't you? I could see it.
Yeah, I was looking for it. But regardless, we have another match coming for you in a short couple of moments time. After this break, we've got the Colchester Centurions taking on the Preston Invincibles. So do not go anywhere, because after this break, it will be our second and final match of the day.
has brought me out of me. My love for you has brought me out of me. My love for you has brought me out of me. My love for you has brought me out of me. My love for you has brought me out of me. My love for you has brought me out of me.
Welcome back to the Belong Arena Clash. We're getting into our second series of the day between the Preston Invincibles and the Colchester Centurions. I'm the Eternal J, and once again, joining me back on the desk is Digital Bacon. Pretty dominant series to start things off with the Nottingham Arrows, certainly instating their position at the top of the table, but now the Colchester Centurions look to challenge with just as much of a challenge on their hands.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That from Nottingham Arrows secures them into a top 3 spot, of course. And Plymouth Armada are doomed to not make it a playoffs. It is super unfortunate to them, but we said it's not all doom and gloom because we have seen some shines come through the grey clouds. Plymouth Armada, maybe next season when it comes around to the Winter Series and all of that, of course, we could see a whole different team. They just got to go away, put in the practice.
Oh, absolutely. Especially if this particular upset comes forward, then there's a bit of a chance that maybe Plymouth Armada might be able to take a bit of an advantage above Colchester Centurions, because there is a theory where they could lose their last 2 matches in the group, and then therefore they would also be down on 3 losses and a chance available for not only the Plymouth Armada but also the Preston Invincibles to take a 3-2 tie-up against the Colchester Centurions. So there's potential available that they still wouldn't have the worst of records still in this group, but for the most part it is sort of almost set for them not to be able to make it to the playoffs, because Colchester Centurions looking really, really good as of late in this group stage.
Yeah, and they're going up against a team that isn't looking so good, unfortunately, with 2 losses. Preston Invincibles really going to have to change things up. We're coming on into them now. 20 seconds past. But Preston Invincibles get a win this week, get a win next week, and they could make it still through to playoffs as long as Arrows take down Nighthawks next week. This is going to be one for the books, I reckon, because on paper, this could definitely be a very close game. We're looking already 45 seconds gone past, Jay, and not anything separating these 2 teams.
Yeah, Preston Invincibles with a couple of good long clears that almost turned into shots on net against the Centurions side. They're in the grey side as Preston Invincibles taking the standard blue. Aquarius now here off the back of a very good demo, off the post, off the crossbar, is taken over to the corner as a result. The Colchester Centurions, a lot more pressure being bounced off the corner crease. Good dunk down from Aquarius, and eventually he will get the opening goal for the Centurions, finally kicking things off in this series.
Yeah, it would definitely come down to Aquarius to really lead by example. Him and Huzia putting on a nice little double act, because Aquarius, when we look at him, he's the captain, he's the champ 3 on this roster, and he's really got to propel this team forward if they want to upset any hopes that Preston have.
Centurions right now with the majority of their pressure. They will get off the backboard on the part of the Invincibles. Good clear out. Second good challenge, however, well read from the Centurion side. And it will continue to go back over to their half as they maintain the pressure on the part of the Invincibles. Aquarius now reading his teammate. Eventually will be forced to rotate back away as Huzia takes it in to the blue half once again, back over to the corner now. It's Formality bouncing once again off the backboard into Aquarius. Good challenges again on the shots coming through in the shot culture of the Centurions. Eventually the Preston Invincibles will get the clearaways once again and keep the pressure going, just trying to see if they can get one of those goals, but so far no real big shots have come in from their side. A couple of good clears, but when it comes to the pressure play, it hasn't quite worked up for them.
No, when you look at that, yes, they're going a little bit too hard net and they don't have a second man to come through and sink the ball. Unfortunately, they're not linking up, and what you're looking at basically is a team, Preston, are fairly mechanically skilled, but they don't have the chemistry to pull off plays like this, Jay.
The Formality there with the second for the part of the Colchester Centurions. just a little bit ahead of the half-time marker, and the Preston Invincibles haven't been looking dire. You know, they've been looking very, very good, in fact, here, Bacon. You know, they've been looking like a formidable side, all things considered. You know, they have been able to deal with a lot of the pressure that the Colchester Centurions have thrown up. Dealt with a lot of the passing plays, the backboard plays. This might not be one they can do, but Aquarius a little bit low to the ball, and a breakaway chance available for the Invincibles. The demos will come in, break up the front line now. It's a good amount of challenge, good amount of ball control. Laser will take it over to the midfield and challenge for midfield control with a 100 boost, getting stolen away for the Centurions. Challenges again for the Invincibles. Bounce back over to the sideboard as Preston maintains his control. Once again to the backboard, it will get cleared a little bit away there. Aquarius will take it into the corner, but only bouncing it back to the centre line without going too far, so far forward as for a goal per se.
Yeah, and this is looking quite good on the build-up. I'm liking that infield pass over to Huzia. Nicely done and nicely defended as well. Both teams really sticking it to each other. Just comes down to the clearances and defense coming through, only just keeping Colchester out.
Demos in. Colchester bumps out of the way as well against Formality's side, so he's got everything he needs. Ball in, Laser pumps out of the way by his own teammate. That actually might be a bit of a tragic way to concede a bit of a goal here. It's starting to look a little bit awkward on the part of the Preston Invincibles as Colchester Centurions maintain the control. Laser chance to dunk it down, but the Colchester Centurions able to maintain the pressure, maintain their control over on the grey half.
Yeah, and this is big now. Preston's starting to get a bit comfortable as I say that. That's a boomer of a hit. But yeah, Preston's starting to build up. Like I said, they've warmed up now. They've got a great shot on target, but that defense, the fly across coming out there. Beautiful, beautiful stuff to keep Preston at bay. The turnaround as well, the build-up quite nice. Unfortunately, not able to make it the whole way to net, but Aquarius will be able to fend off from the centre as the out avenue was not there to be found.
Bounce from the backboard into Aquarius. Good shot over and up to the top end of the net, and that will be enough to put the throw on the board. Probably enough to put the game on the board as well for the Colchester Centurions as Preston Invincibles 49 seconds to score 3 goals. We often say that a 3-goal lead is virtually impossible to come back from, especially with the way that the Centurions are playing now. The contact plays, the bump plays into the back line where the Preston Invincibles are playing from. Formality over, passing in to the teammate. Up for Aquarius. Bounce back over to the backboard. Bounces it for a teammate going to come forward. Good challenges again. We'll bounce it over and out. Good plays on. This is actually going on target. No, it's a little bit too far wide. Teammate can't follow through with a good shot of his own. But Aquarius will come forward from the back line to the front to get the 4th on the board. And it took a little bit of time for the dominance to really set in, but Colchester Centurions, now that they're going, they really are going.
Big cluster up down that corner as well. Unfortunate for them, we saw Laser trying to dart across, but not to be able to. It's looking a little bit dire here for the Invincibles, Jay. We're seeing good glimmers of hope, but that communication is not there. The lads need to start talking because they're clustering up too much. And that essentially means that, yeah, they're jumping for the ball, and they're doing it too late because they're expecting their teammate to get there.
Good redirect from Huzia. In the end, Preston Invincibles just not placed correctly to go ahead and deal with that one. So 5-0 on the board for the Colchester Centurions. It is looking good. Looking about as good as the Nottingham Arrows did just a moment ago. So maybe signs of the rest of the series. Bacon, I mean, it wasn't quite the first sort of 9-0 stomping we saw from that initial first game of that first series. So a little bit of hope for the Preston Invincibles. You know, there's certainly a little bit of potential and certainly a little bit of promise being shown by them, I think.
Yeah, definitely. When we look at Preston, like I said, it's all coming down to communication. They're not attacking together. Essentially, they just hit the ball towards the backboard and then hope that someone else is going to get into the middle. The problem is that the wires are getting crossed and no one ends up there. In defense, they're all clustering around. You're seeing a lot of double commits, which is different to what we saw from Armada. Armada sending 2 players to the ball to essentially overwhelm them by numbers. With Preston, it's a case of not really any trusting teammates or not even knowing that their teammates going for the ball, so they've got to. And that's one thing which you hope gets cleared out upon the series, but it's not a pretty sight to look at.
Bouncing from laser control for the Preston Invincibles over in the grey half. Good challenges as well. Good start, a decent goal here. Dunk down opportunity. No, taken away by the Centurion side as they clear it back down to the other end of the field. Again, good early start to the Preston Invincibles, good challenges and good clears out towards the grey half that have gotten close to the target, but not going on target itself. And other than that, they haven't maintained a whole lot. You know, midfield control has certainly favoured the Centurion side. Now the bumps could come forward. A good defensive will get set up in the end with Laser being the backline rock, and he'll continue to stay there as he looks for his teammate to go for the clear. Instead, Aquarius, good double dunk chance, off the crossbar. His teammate will come forward. Oh no! He gets the save. Oh, that's a whiff and a half for the Colchester Centurions. I feel like there's a chant available for that one, but they will not score the first in the first minute.
Yeah, but I don't think it'll matter too much. You see them on the counter-attack trying to go for the whiff there. Laser not going to be faded out by that. No. And what a redirect and a half coming out there from Belong Preston 1. Someone forgot to change their name, Jay.
Try my best not to bring any attention to it, but it's kind of out of the way, isn't it? But two big whiff there for the Colchester Centurions. The save coming in the opposing half, and then the pass up to their opponents that allowed the redirect to come in for the Invincibles. That is a big yikes from me. The first is scored by the Invincibles side, and you know, we have seen him with a lot of opportunities available to try and just stall against the Centurions, you know, especially in that first game where they had the majority of the defensive control. So now the chances can break away here, but Laser wants a bit more out of this game. He does not want to lead by a single goal, and certainly a 2-goal buffer will do wonders for the Preston Invincibles. Can't quite hold that midfield control. Once again, it's out towards the blue corner where Laser and Aquarius are going to miss. Good redirect's going to go wide of the mark there for the Colchester Centurions. It's Preston Invincibles. Wait here for Malady. Chance to dunk down. He waits just enough time, but in the end, one good save is all they need.
We've noticed that Vormality as well has been a little bit quiet in this series. I was expecting a little bit more from him, but he's just taken that third man role, and of course, where Colchester have been on the attack more often than not, we haven't seen a massive amount for him. I would expect that to change a little bit as he wants to push up. That's a nice hit from Aquarius, but too slow. Not going to reach the target. And Preston looking a little bit livelier in this one, Jay.
Yeah, got all the control they need. Zia, leaving it. Bounce back off the backboard. He finds an opportunity for Aquarius. Come forward and strike. Good stuff there. And as you say, Vormality with the third man play and not going for the strikes, just going from the corner play, backboard pass, leaving it for his teammate to take all the glory and for his team to take the first on their board at 1-1.
Yeah, unfortunately, both Belong 1 and 3 getting caught up in the corner. Again, like I was saying earlier, that's a communication issue. You say, I'm going for it, the second player then goes back to net. Would have avoided all of that. They'll be learning these lessons as they go along. A little bit like we were talking about playing with Armada before. This team, Colchester, seemingly having quite a bit of skill, definitely on, Invincibles having skill on both Laser and Belong 1. Just not that team-based sort of like build-up yet. This is almost looking like a game of solo standard, not the slick plays we were expecting from them looking at paper.
2 minutes left to go here, and so far we are even now, but Colchester Centurions starting to steal some of the boost in the back line there for the Preston Invincibles. Good challenges again, we'll put it into the box here, but no real opportunities for a clear and breakaway. Aquarius, and with a redirect of his own right, bounce back to the backboard, in towards another. Good dunk down chance, and it will go past all 3 players on the left-hand side of the net. Triple commit for Preston Invincibles. No one got the touch, and no one got the save.
Yeah, this one's a drippy, droppy like a power shower, just going to put it down with a lot of pace into the ground, giving it enough power to be able to bounce that back up into the top net. Super hard to deal with those. And that means now that Centurions take the lead. Oh, how the tables have turned in game 2.
And how they'll continue to turn the direction of the Centurions. Another great 50-50 there for Vormality. Usually playing support. I guess he wanted to get this chance to keep the pressure going, but the doink worked so well for him. Bounce off the crossbar, back into the back of the net. 3-1 on the board, and the Centurions continue to maintain control.
A massive hit as well. That's like a one-hit KO right there. Straight in the crossbar, and it is just beckoned towards that net as it goes down. Looking at Invincibles now, maybe game 2 is done and dusted, but they need to use the rest of this 1 minute 15 to start talking to each other, getting everything in order, because they are looking a little bit better. That hit across from 1 to me shows a little bit of distrust in Belong 3, but you can definitely see Laser and Preston 1 starting to build up a little bit of repertoire with each other. However, you look at Colchester, they've had that from the start, and they've had it in spades.
Talk about trust on the Invincible side. The trust of the Centurions can't be matched. The backboard passing play for Formality again. Seem to realize that, yes, they know that he can get those backboard setups. They know that he can set up the Centurions overall, and he's doing just that right here to give the perfect opportunities available to score these goals and still win out 50-50 challenges against the Invincibles 5-1. And once again, in the latter minute or two of the game, the Centurions just run away with the lead.
Yeah, massive pass in there that cannot be discounted as well from Hizia. Sending it deep to his teammate, Formality there, just to be able to receive it and just bang that into net with 50-50 as well. But Formality was in complete control with that one. Brilliant setup.
40 seconds left for the Invincibles. They will get some open space to work with, but not a lot of it. And immediately the Centurions, as soon as they get open space with the ball, they'll take control. Pass between two players, go to the back ball. We'll get pinched away by Laser and Co, but in the end, Formality comes forward with 55 points of boost, trying to see if he can play it into his own teammate, but it will not happen. Zaya over once again, trying to see if he can rotate away for some control, but 17 seconds, he can only get boost. And that might be all he needs to maintain the pressure, maintain the ball in the blue half. Bounce back off the back ball, will not go under the shot for Aquarius. It might go there for Formality. Redirect will go wide of the marker, but that's enough for 5 seconds on the clock. And another victory for the Colchester Centurions. Another match point at 2-0 fashion for the favourites of these series. And Preston Invincibles really have their backs against the wall, even though they scored that opening goal, even though they had a strong start to these matches. In the end, they're just going the way of Centurions in such dominant fashion by the time the timer hits 0.
Yeah, Preston came out the gates running, which is really nice to see, of course, in game 2. The problem is this is a hurdle race, Jay, and they just hit straight into that first hurdle. Colchester, they had the stamina to go the whole way in that one. And when we look at this, Colchester's strength comes out largely from their use of space. If you notice those long-range hits to each other, definitely going side to side on the goal, it's throwing Invincibles around. Colchester's Centurions have learnt that their opponents, very much like us, are lacking a little bit of that communication, so they're using as much space, sending balls in from very wide angles, which is so difficult to deal with, and they're throwing them through a loop and essentially exploiting their opponent's biggest weakness.
Awkward touch, almost an interceptor wide there for the Colchester Centurions, and you can see they realise the gaps in the fence for the Invincibles side. The defensive clear was not confident, and they tried to punish it off the back of that, but a couple of missed shots there for the Centurions will not allow the opening goal to be scored just yet. A couple of double commits as well on the offensive line, but that keeps the pressure going. Rotate back, is here. Great adjustments, almost found a dunk down. Shot coming in for a teammate. Aquarius will come up with the opening goal here for the Centurions side. Not a surprise, they had all the control for the last 41 seconds, and it will lead to a first goal for the Centurions.
This was a doomed if you do, doomed if you don't for Preston 3 there. Having jump up because he saw the ball was going over him, so he had to double commit into it, hit into his teammate, which went straight out to the center, and because he had jumped up originally, he was not able to get back into defense, so ouch. Essentially, Jay, you couldn't change that any other way. And it's just coming down to the suffocating pressure that Centurions are putting on. This is a team that is really well drilled, and we can see why they're currently sitting second in the league.
Ball in, backboard, second touch, actually a pass back into the centre line, which eventually Aquarius will be able to strike for, playing away from the Preston Invincibles. Positioning, actually, watch exactly where they were holding in from. Laser in the back line, he passed in front of the next man to defend it, and Preston 3 had to try and back up to try and get himself into a appropriate position to challenge for the ball control. By that point, it was too late. The Centurions had everything they needed to get that second goal in, Bacon.
Yeah, and again, like I said earlier, it's that forceful nature that we've seen coming out from Centurions. They're mixing it up. They're not allowing their teammates to change from game 2, where they were going wide beforehand. That's a nice little clearance over to the side. Good read there coming out from Preston 1, but Preston 3 poorly positioned. Needed to be a little bit further out. Laser was ready to come on in, so Preston 3 should have really been going back boost, and this was a little bit of a mistake, unfortunately. I didn't want to bring it up because this is a bit of a tearjerker.
You would have thought slow ball, just Laser missing out his touch. He had the perfect chance.
Dodge.
Yeah, clear it off the backboard, but instead he went too far wide to the right-hand side, and that will be the 3-0. Probably enough for the Centurions at this stage to take the series outright, but No, 3 minutes to go, Preston Invincibles. I don't think can happen. They're going to need a miracle, though. They're going to need to find some way to turn it around and start playing mad of their own right to potentially bring a comeback against the Centurions. And right now, with the ball control they've got in the blue half, it just doesn't feel like they've got to happen.
No, and that's a brilliant pop-up to see. Aquarius is ready for it, but no. The touch coming in very, very good by the defenders there to be able to get that out of his hands. I'm loving this little build-up. That's powerfully downfield, but look at that coming out from Hizia. Just being able to knock up into the air, stop everything, turn the tables once again, getting the ball down into opponent's ends. Colchester are brilliant at these counter-attacks.
Lovely shot. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful there for the Centurions. Once again, bringing their 4-0 potential, bringing their what's the word? Team play potential, I think, more than anything else, over to the play.
Yeah, definitely showing the power of team play when you look at Invincibles as well. They've definitely been doing a lot more solo plays, trying to get the ball downfield. Like I said, if it's not just a hit or clearance, it's trying to dribble it down, following it on. You'll notice this coming out from Preston 3 there. Seeing he can't get the ball, will then drop back. But it's leaving a lot of broken rotations and not moving up together as a unit. It's very much a I, myself deal instead of we as a 3.
Up to the corner. Zia, challenge off the back ball, we'll put it over to the grey half, but again, it's Aquarius challenged unsuccessfully, set up for the shot here on the part of the Invincibles. Preston 1 will go down in the demo. Preston 3 and Laser will be forced to fall back eventually as they can't commit towards the shot set up by their teammate. Get back over to that blue half where they just can't seem to find any sort of way in. All up again for Laser's control, 64 points of boost, does not use any of it, instead trying to look for a shot, and now starting to get a little bit of pressure on towards that backboard, but Centurions adjusting as appropriate, getting away any sort of opportunities for the Invincibles. Shot in, and actually that will be the gap, the one thing that threads the needle, the gap in the fence, and gets it past the Centurions defensive for the first on the board for the Invincibles. A minute and 30 to score 3 more though, Bacon. It's very, very difficult.
Yeah, great little sight there, and what a banger of a hit as well, using that dodge right at the end to put a little bit more power on the ball. Fantastic stuff, Jay.
Still the pressure is on. Still a massive lead for the Centurions as they go in off the backboard. Chance for Hosea. She leaves it for his teammate instead, and a pass down could be a chance. Oh, what a play. Beautifully done for the Centurions to reinstate the 4-goal lead. Yeah, not looking great. That has to be said, I think.
Yeah, and it's looking like this could be another 3-0 sweep, Jay, here. 4 goals at 1 minute 18 left. That is a very dooming scoreline, isn't it?
Preston trying to go for the backboard play, but not going to happen again. 60 seconds on the clock as the ball bounces up. Preston 1 dunks it down over to the midfield. Backboard play will get set up, but it's a little bit too far wide and actually into the corner more than anything else. And a chance there for the Invincibles to break away and go for a shot, but Centurions quick on the rotations, know exactly where to place themselves, know exactly where to pass, know exactly where to shoot. Not quite in this case, but over to the corner again. Zaya needs it. Pretty light touches on the ball so far for the Centurions, just trying to keep it away from the Invincibles. It's Aquarius. Oh, what a shot. What a setup. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
Oh, this is a fine feast for the eyes right now. We're talking Sunday roast with all the trimmings on that one, Jake. So the hit to the corner, the bounce back, and then the controller just absolutely sent a bang into the net. That's what we want. What we want now, though, is the Brazil. Another goal from Colchester could do it.
I don't think we've seen in Brazil so far on broadcast, have we? Well, we're about to right now as it goes on the backboard. Chance for the dunk down, missed out by the player going for the aerial. And the Invincibles will pass between each other, but Aquarius there. Oh, gets it past them all. Ole, 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 ole. 11-1 for the Colchester Centurions as they look to put the final nail on the coffin of this series in full meme-style fashion.
Yep, and a clean hit. Good reception from Aquarius there to be able to send that down. And I've been working the numbers here, Jay. The win here for the Centurions grants them a spot into the playoffs.
Indeed, I think it might just do, 3 wins to 1 loss. So therefore, the best that they can do, or the worst that they can do, is 3 wins to 2 losses. The only team that they can do better than them as a result of that would be the Nottingham Arrows, as far as my numbers sort of say as well. One more goal, just saved there. Invincible side. But
again,
3-0
crunch the numbers, Jeff.
Centurions.
Centurions beat the Nighthawks there. Colchester taking down Norfolk. So because they head up in the ties, that definitely means that Centurions will be able to go on through. So all it comes down to now is the difference of next week, where the Nottingham Arrows have to go up against the Nighthawks. Nighthawks have to beat out Arrows there, or Arrows have to beat out Nighthawks to take the top seed, essentially. If Nighthawks take down the Arrows, then Nighthawks go through as second seed. If Arrows take down Nighthawks, Arrows go through as top seed. So definitely next week is going to be a spicy one for those lads.
Indeed, it will be, but that's all action to come next week. For now, though, the Colchester Centurions can celebrate their victory as they are looking to go 3-0 up with their third victory to just one loss so far in the table, potentially a fourth one on the horizons in next week's matches. Speaking of next week's matches, actually, we're going to be switching over to groups 1 and 2 for our final matches of the group stage. The Manchester Swarm taking on the Clyde Claymores and the Bristol Smugglers taking on the Stratford Spartans to see whether they can go for the final few victories in their groups. For the rest of the week and Belong, we've got tomorrow's Overwatch matches where the Invincibles are taking on the Vikings and the Claymores on for the Kestrels in our penultimate week of League Play Action, Bacon.
Yeah, and then, of course, come around to Thursday, we're going to be looking at League of Legends, and Friday, it all kicks off with FIFA, and that's one in which I'm going to be looking forward to having a little look at, because we got York Vikings going up against the Teesside Steelers for that one, Jay.
Indeed, lots of action to be had here on the Belong Arenas channel, so make sure you're following, make sure you're keeping up with all of the action. But if you want more Rocket League, that's going to do it for this week. We'll be back next week for even more with our final week of the group stage, and following that, our playoffs are almost ready to begin, Bacon. It's going to be a very fun time. We've got loads more action to come, only a couple of weeks to go. So make sure you're tuning in. For the time being, I've been the Eternal J. Joining me has been Digital Bacon, and we'll see you back here next week for even more of the Rocket League action.